Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of the 7 Days to Die Ultimate Beginner's Guide. This is the night episode on day 2 and we're just going to go through a few things that don't really warrant doing whilst you're running around. Mainly the perk system. And the perk system comes into a lot of arguments between players, a lot of friendly arguments I've had back and forth with people on the 7 Days to Die server. So, because it's like 6 o'clock in game now, we've only got, technically you'd only have a couple of hours of in-game time to gather stuff. You'd want to continue doing that, but for me, Hightower's kindly gone out there looking for some stuff so we can go through some of the bits that we want to go through. Now, we've talked about this menu here, which is obviously, as soon as you press the tab button, is the basic crafting menu. But it's got a lot more things on it that are useful. And there's a couple of things I want to highlight that we've not already discussed, which you may be wondering what the hell it's all about. So the first thing is, when you've got something like this is exactly how you'll see it. It gives you a little spiel here on things you can do, which is really useful actually, because it'll actually tell you, like the R button takes everything from the container, which we've already done. Shift click to move a stack between areas containers, so if you shift click here, it'll move it onto your bar because that's the nearest available container, so to speak. You've also got the right click, which will drop one item at a time. So if you click on it, like so, and drag, and then right click, it drops one item. You can drag them back onto it, like so. Right click, hold and drag to take half a stack. So if you hold and drag, like so, it'll take half the stack. Left click to drop or swap a stack. So if you've got it already picked up, you can go ahead and drop it. And left click, hold and drag to take the full stack. And then left click to inspect an item. So if you just click on it, it allows you to inspect it, like so. So things like that are really useful, and there's lots of these things in this game, but a lot of stuff they don't teach you, like a show to, how to, whatever you want to call it. It's like the basic survival skills, like the things where you're leaving enough room for the zombie in front of you. You know, things like that you're going to want to pick up on during a guide, and hopefully that's what we're going to be doing here. The other thing as well is really more so what the rest of the menu does. It kind of shows you this menu and just dumps it on you and goes, there you go, enjoy yourselves. But there is a lot of other things you can do on this menu. The very basic of it is you can go into here and you can search stuff. Like so. You also go into buildings, resources, and more weapons. It's got the usual drop down stuff that you can expect. And you can get a basic selection. And all these things you can build in your inventory unless it tells you things that you're going to need. Now there's perks and books that you're going to need for stuff, but there are also stuff you can build in the crafting bench and stuff like that, but this is everything you can build on yourself. While we're here actually, we'll build the campfire. So there is a lot like that. There's also a couple of other things we need to look at. The big one here is the wood frame block. If you notice in the wood frame block, it's got a little icon there to the side of it. What that icon means is it's got multiple shapes. So if I go ahead and I craft one of them now, and I drag that on, and you can see the icon is still on there. If you go to it, left click rotates it around as you've seen prior. Right click places it down. Press E to pick it back up again. But if you hold the R button to reload, as you would do with the bell that we just had, you get a few other options. And as you can see now, that icon actually means shape. It's actually a circle, a square, and a diamond, and a triangle, all in one thing. You've got a simple rotation, advanced rotation, on face. So if you're putting it against something, and you can copy the rotation as well. So the on face actually rotates it around a specific point. So if you're against something like that, and you do on face, it'll rotate it so it's facing the right way. See, kind of cool sometimes to use that. But the one we want to look at is shape. And if you do shape, you get a lot of options. There's a lot of new options as well, which is kind of cool. Because you've got these wooden blocks now. So you've got wood pillar, 50 square top. What the 50 means is it's half the size. That's a quarter block. That's a quarter the size of the square you're occupying. We've also got wood pillar 50 corners, so it's in the corner. And then you've got corner with a plate on. They're all new. The pillars are, that's a normal pillar, that's been there for a while. Now, I believe these are also all new, which are kind of cool. So you got like different shaped wood frames and stuff. So they're starting to bring in a lot more shapes and stuff. You've also got an arrow block as well. Your typical ramps that you find. And this can be done with any block that's got that symbol on it. So once you get that symbol, you can then change the shape of it. Actually, it tells you how many in total as well, which is quite nice. So just bear that in mind. Let's get back to our menu. The other thing it shows you is the crafting time. Crafting time can be affected by perks, which we'll go into in a moment. But you can also favourite things as well. If you favourite something and you want to find it real quick, you can hit that star button there and it brings up all your favourites for you. The wood frame block's now in there. It takes you time to search for something that you're going to use all the time. Looks like Hightower's taking a beating there.
I am taking a little bit of a beating. It's all right. Because I'm going to run away.
Can't win a fight, run away from it.
Right? And you can't win them all, so you're going to run away from some of them.
Bear in mind, Sorry, go on.
Nope, just ran into more.
Oh, okay, excellent. You're probably going to
die. There's a possibility.
Just bear in mind, 7 days to die, you're going to die. Yep, you died. You're going to die a few times. Expect it. The only downside to dying when you're at a high level is you lose XP and obviously your stuff is left behind. You've got to go and get it. But expect to die. The only thing we're going to try and stop you from doing is dying multiple times over something that is quite frustrating. We've had a lot of people on the servers who have died. Very simple things which once they've seen the guides, they've been like, oh, that makes sense. That's all we're here for. So just expect to die. Don't expect to always be able to avoid something like that. The game can be challenging. But back to where we were now that Hightower's not dying. We've got the character menu, which we've already discussed. There's not really much more other than the only one I didn't show you was the extended character stats, which right now isn't going to mean much for you. And it's not really going to make any difference to you, which is why we didn't cover it on the previous. That will come into play later down the line when you want to start doing things that are a little bit more tailored to what you're aiming for. The map, which we've already seen when you press the M button. The perk screen, skill screen, whichever one you want to call it, which I just glanced over on the last episode, which we will look at on this episode. The quest menu, which tells you, obviously we've done the basic survivor ones, they're all ticked off, they're all grayed out. The one we're currently on, which is obviously bugged, we don't know where it is. And it's for both of us as well, so we don't understand why that's not there. You can also share quests as well, so if somebody shares a quest with you, it'll come down in this box here, you can accept it, you can see it on the map, or you can cancel the quest as well. Same for this, you can toggle whether it's active or not. It'll show up on there. It'll show you on the map, which it's supposed to be there, which it isn't, because as you can see that's a mountainside. And then if we go back to it again, you've also got the remove quest as well. We're hoping to find a trader Joel, so I'll keep hold of it because it may complete it, or it may be just, I don't know, a bug or something. We'll figure it out later, but we may have to remove it. The next one is the journal, which will give you information on a lot of things. It also says about the encumbrance, which is, if we go back to this menu here, these little bars here. Now there are things in game that increases your pack size, but basically when you're over encumbered, these are where your stuff's going to be at, and you're going to slow down. If you want to look at it in more detail, look into these. Because these will tell you every single thing that you've unlocked. So you can see it's even got the shape menu there. So click or shift click to select a variant to build with. Hold the reload action and select the shape entry from the radio menu. There you go. Armor statistics, it goes into all the details. So if you do want to know more about things, then go into these here and these will teach everything you find. It'll also tell you what this entry does. Eating and drinking are necessities, but these days, not all food and drink is safe. Drink items displays a percentage value for the chance of getting dysentery. Levels of the iron gut perk reduce this chance. It causes diarrhea which dehydrates you. This slows down the rate at which you regenerate stamina and health. If untreated, it is lethal within 2 days. Goldenrod tea and pure mineral water will cure it. Rotten food can be eaten if you're starving, but will hurt your health. So you can see that that's what we had to do earlier on. The final one is the player's menu, which for us is just basically showing you all your stats you want, whether you want to group up, be a party, an ally, whether they've got voice activated at the time, where they are on the map, how far away they are from you, which you can gather around stuff like, the reticle up top and obviously the player bar on the left-hand side. Player kills, which obviously neither of us have killed ourselves, how many enemies we've killed. The main one is our game stage, so if somebody's at a ridiculously high game stage, avoid them like the plague. Because they'll bring out worse zombies than ever on you. Things like infected zombies, demolition zombies. It's just ridiculous. So just avoid anybody with a high game stage. And obviously you can do pings and reports and all that kind of stuff. But let's get back to the skill bar. This one is the one that has had many a conversation in comments, discords, games that I've played with people. Me and Hightower have also had discussions on it over great periods of time. It's a ball ache. The old skill system was a lot easier because whatever you wanted to do, you skilled for that. If you wanted to be a builder, you placed perks in tools. You placed perks in mining. Now there are a lot of things that cross over between each other and a lot of things that everybody needs. However, there's no one set way anymore. So I like to build, but a lot of the stuff that I'll get don't necessarily relate to building. As a new player, you probably won't have a clue what you want to do at this stage. But there are a couple of things you can get that are going to help you right now, which we're going to discuss in a moment and why they help you. And also a couple of things you could probably leave later down the line, and then you need to decide how you want to play. And we're at the night time, so hopefully Hightower's made it back home. Well, he's 302 meters away, so I'm presuming he's staying out for the night.
Well, no, but I am fighting off the zombies that are trying to follow me home. Okay, and I managed to find a can of soup.
Excellent, so you have a can of soup. Oh.
I have a can of soup.
Excellent. Got a little bit of food. I'm starving again, because we're less than 50%, so it's telling us we're struggling. Which is absolutely fine because we'll go and find some tomorrow for food, hopefully. And obviously, standing here doing nothing doesn't help my food and water, but it is what it is. Okay, so back to the perk systems while we watch Hightower dying of a horrible death.
Oh, ye of little faith.
So, if you want to go about scavenging, then obviously, right off the bat, the first perks we have a look at, which is in perception, it's things like Lucky Looter, Treasure Hunter, and Salvage Operation. Salvage Operations really isn't useful right now because we don't have a wrench for a start. Waste not, want not, salvage items for more resources. Junk Collector. Who knows what useful items can be found when tearing things apart. Craft quality 2 poor salvage tools. Deals 10% more damage, harvest 20% faster, and gains 20% more resources when salvaging tools like wrenches. It also unlocks the wrench crafting. Pretty useless right at this stage because we haven't got a way to make the wrench. And you'll see that when we get closer to making them. I believe it's the wrench crafting now in the game and it wasn't in Alpha 18. I don't think you could actually craft the wrenches. I think you had to find them.
Yeah.
That could be something new. Yeah, it is something. Now what it's saying though is craft quality 2 poor salvage tools. As you can see, these are level 2 poor quality. Every single thing you get has something to do with something. Lucky Looter obviously is as it is. You got a slim chance to find better loot. Add 5% to loot bonus for containers that you open personally. Looting is also 10% faster. When you start looking at things like this, piercing shot ignores 15% of firearms. At this stage, you're not going to need it at all. Animal tracker, you're not going to need. Well, I mean, you can find rabbits, snakes, or chickens, but realistically, you're not going to be able to run around chasing chickens. You're gonna lose a lot of time trying to chase them down to get a little bit of food off them to be poisoned by the food anyway. So yeah, pretty much everything else on this useless right now. Don't even look at it. I mean, look, Deadeye. Okay, so you can hit with rifles. Well, you can't build rifles, so there's no point. Strength. There are a couple of perks in strength that you definitely need. Textual Tyrannosaurus. You have graduated to Bench Warmer. Reduced melee and tool stamina usage by 8% and power attacks by 15%. That's melee and tools. It means whilst you're hitting a tree with your hammer or your axe or whatever you want to use, you're using 8% less stamina. And when you swing the big sledgehammer, you're using 15% less stamina. Which also means that whilst you're struggling to find food, you're not using as much stamina. Pack mule. I tend to avoid pack mule, but it's down to yourselves. If you want to be able to carry a full loot, a full bag of loot, then you can go for the pack mule. But there is a couple of things we can do to avoid you using pack mule. So I'm going to say no to that. Master Chef, you can use the Master Chef if you want. It allows you to make things like bacon and eggs, boiled and grilled meats, baked potatoes, cornbread, teas and coffees. I tend to get that as the first one, and I'll leave the rest till a later time. Miner 69er, if you are wanting to gather more mining stuff, you're going to need it. You'll also notice that the old system that it used to have is now back. So everyone has to start somewhere. Craft quality tool, poor tools. Increases tool damage by 10% and block damage by 30%. So now we're using less stamina and causing more damage. It unlocks all iron tools like pickaxes. So if you actually do manage to get iron, we can make some iron tools. We'll go ahead and do that. Mother load, again, if you want to harvest more from things. At this stage, don't worry too much. You're not 20% of nothing is still nothing. Until you start getting iron tools and you start gathering a lot of resources, then 20% of 100 is 120 at a time. So you're starting to increase things a little bit better. So don't bother with it yet. Save your points. We've only got 2 points anyway. You can put an attribute in strength if you want, but really, this just goes a little bit more. Everything else, useless. Fortitude. Fortitude increases, again, damage with headshots and fist damage. You don't need that yet. We don't need brawlers, we don't need machine gunners, we don't need any of these. Living off the land, don't bother. Don't bother at this stage. You are not going to be able to plant crops at this stage and get farm plots and all that going. You're just not going to be able to. Pain tolerance is pretty decent. As you can see, reduces HP loss by 5% and you get 20% less chance to get stunned. Consider it if you want to, down to yourself. Well insulated, if you are in an area with bad weather, consider using this. We're in the desert, so as you can see here, it says you like mild weather, but can handle a bit of temperature fluctuation, gain 10 insulation against heat and cold, and lose 15% less food and water when cold or overheating. We haven't actually overheated because we're not in the direct desert, we're on the kind of the outskirts of the desert, and it might be down to the fact that we're under level 6. However, if you start to see that you're overheating in the desert, then you definitely need to consider this point. Healing factor is definitely something to have. You must have a fast metabolism. Gain 1 health every 90 seconds with natural healing. Critical injuries heal 20% faster. Critical injuries are a part of the new system, which we'll cover when we actually start to see the critical. However, we're going to grab that because that now means naturally I'm going to heal myself up. Iron Gut. Your stomach health isn't perfect, but it's better than the average wastelanders. Reduce food and water loss from physical exertion by 5%. Hold your breath for 84 seconds, plus the chance of dysentery is reduced by 1%. Buffs from consumables last 10% longer. The important thing to know on this is less poison, less food usage. Sold. Rule 1 cardio. No, don't get it. Agility. All about weapons and shadowy stuff and stealth and stuff like that. Don't bother with it. Ignore agility right now. It's going to be no use to you. Oh, before we continue, it sounds like a zombie spotted our lights.
Well, let's see what we can do about that.
So don't be afraid because it's the night time that you can't attack them. You can attack them. Don't let them get into your base though because they're a pain. What we can go and do is we can sneak around here. Still a bit of daytime. Let's see if we can sneak up on them. Oh, it looks like there's a wandering horde. As you can see, she's actually running. There you go. This is the only downside to attacking them at night, is they run. And she's down for the count.
Oh, she's out.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. She's down. Out.
Yeah, yeah. You can see the perks already. I used hardly any of my stamina, though. Got another zombie further off in the distance, but they're not wandering, so we'll leave them. As you can see, expect zombies. We weren't doing anything. We were stood still doing absolutely nothing, so I expect that. They spot the lighting, so all the lighting around. So you want to, if you're going to use this as a horde base, which Hightower will go through with you, you want to basically replace all of these little lats here. I'm going to break them down, and then you get the outer one, which is a glass window. You can actually right-click that, and you can make that into a board. That blocks the light. You can do that one as well. Go.
Yeah. Or if you're going to actually use this as a horde base, you can take these windows out entirely and fill them in with actual blocks you can upgrade with stone.
You can upgrade these with stone as well. Cobblestone. Okay. Just if you want something looking a bit different. But you're right, you can replace them completely with blocks. And back to our perk system. We were on intelligence. Intellect. Intellect is one of these for people who want to build, who want to craft things. The Einsteins of the world. Or is it the Teslas of the world? We've had this discussion, haven't we? Einstein's theory, Tesla is practical. That's what we're saying.
That's right.
That's what we're going with. So if you want to be a Tesla, then this is the kind of stuff you want. You've got your combat perks, which is all about... Ooh, robotics inventor. That's a new one. You can craft robots. Don't bother. You're not going to do it at this level. Electrocutioner, you're not going to need power at this level either. You get stun buttons and stuff like that. They're useless. Influences, they're pretty decent, which you can get at a later stage. If you play multiplayer, consider the charismatic nature, but work with the team you're with to find out who's going to use stuff like this. So one person can have it, and as you can see, you are a team leader and inspire those around you. Block and melee damage are increased by 20% for nearby allies. If you've got somebody who's a miner, you grab this, they mine, jobs are good of them. Craftsmanship perks. Precision, which you can't do because you need to unlock it. And it says intellect level 3 there. So that'll actually tell you what you need. So you need 2 more intellects. As you can say, yeah, useless. Advanced engineering, blacksmith. You are now a blacksmith and able to forge iron and other metal objects. Craft forges and craft items with them 20% faster. Craft glue cheaper. That is definitely something you're going to want early on in the game. Because you're obviously going to be able to start smelting iron. Beast Monkey again is unlocked until you get intellect level 2. The final kind of tab of this is perk books. All throughout the world, you've got 2 types of readables. You have schematics and books. Perk books are a blessing. They are the diamond in the rough. They're everything you would ever want. They look like they do absolutely nothing, but trust me, having completed Alpha 18.4 on the server, the stuff we learned from these perk books was phenomenal. The Art of Mining is one of the best perks I've ever managed to unlock. I was literally one-shotting ore. I was gathering so much resources. I'd had diamonds, gold, silver. I was selling to the trader, making a fortune. I was just making ammo like it was going out of fashion. So whilst you're going about, you want to find bookstores. You want to find anywhere where it's got a bookshelf. Always loot it. Never break them. I know we broke the ones in this room because we are never coming back to this once we've moved out. Just, honestly, it's worth its weight in gold, so consider it. Everything else, I'm not going to go through each one of them. You can read them all, but there are a few new ones from the Alpha 19. So you want to consider having a look at it and seeing which ones you want. Realistically, read everything. Now, there is a way you can see when you've read them, but I'll save it until we find a book to show you that at that stage. But right now, just bear in mind the books you want. You want to find them, read them, there you go. Now, the only other thing I can say is during the night time, what I could have been doing is actually I could have been crafting something with my wood that I've got. But you can do that at any stage. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to craft as many wood frame blocks as I can because I'm going to need them for our next stage on day 4. Day 3 now is all about gathering supplies and stuff like that because we are low on food, we're going to be low on water, we are low on tools, equipment, clothing, everything. We're low on everything. So take the first 3 days just to get yourself in a survivable state. Find some crappy building you can hide in. Jobs are good one. I think someone's breaking through the house again.
There was a fat man outside not too long ago, so...
It sounds like he's breaking through some stuff, so you can go and deal with it. Whilst I say goodbye to the lovely people. So thank you very much, everybody, for checking out this episode. Make sure you leave any comments in the comment section if there's anything you may not have understood, anything that we can cover a little bit more. If you've got questions for somebody who's relatively new, then Hightower is here. He's not been around 7 days as much as myself and other players that I've played with, but he has learned so much through the guides and has been able to bring you a POI definition to this guide through doing it himself on quite a difficult server. We got up to nearly day 600 before we decided to wipe the server. However, he's embarrassing me at the moment because he's dying. So he's eating your body. There we go. We'll just kill the fat man.
He's not hungry anymore. That's all I can say.
Wow, he's got some range on him.
Yeah, and he's fast too.
Yes, they get angered every now and then, and they'll start running at you. There we go. Excellent.
All right, we'll get that in post.
So again, thank you very much, everybody, for checking it out. Make sure you do leave any comments, and remember, if you want to join us on any future episodes or whatever, if you just want a place to play, then make sure you check out the description below for the Discord link, and we should see you there. Until next time, everybody, take care for now. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.